Alright guys, I'm here at the track to talk to you about my caution lights. So this is where my main station's at for controlling them, right here. And the conduits come out. I made it all go into conduit so it'd protect the wire, but it goes all the way down around there to that one. And this one goes, it wraps around. We buried the line down here, comes up, and then goes all the way around to that one. So I'll show you the setup I have over here. And like I said, once again, this is all because I couldn't find anything online to, how to make caution lights for a track, which I know that's kind of a odd thing to look up, but if you're in my kind of situation, you want some caution lights, what do? So make them homemade. That's what we did. All right, so here's what we got. The conduit comes out here, and I ran it into here, and how I did it was with thermostat wire. You got a red wire for the red light, you got a white wire for common, and I got a green wire for the green and yellow light relay. Basically that's my three I got in there. Like I said, all thermostat wire. I think I ran a 4-wire just to have a spare. And here's my plugs for it. So the green goes up here, and like I had in the drawing, right in here, I know it's kind of hard to tell, but there's a little bridge that goes in here. This is the common side. It's connected still. It connects that screw and that screw. There's a little bridge though. I snipped it on this side, on this one right here. So then I hooked my green wire up here and my red wire down here, and that actually separates them. So now this will only send power for the green, this will only send power for the red. Because normally, like this one here, this is 120 volt, you have a hot side and a common side. And you only have one wire going up here, one wire going over here, and the bridges, like I talked about, just go down here and do the same thing. So this is a common, this is a hot right here. That's just how they're set up. But if you snip it, it basically sections them off. So this is a standalone, and this would be a standalone. But that's what this is though. This one's sectioned off from this one, and these two are normal. This is a normal 120 volt. So I have it set up for this so we can unhook this thing and remove it from the track so it won't be stolen or something like that. Keep it out of the rain and weather. That's my biggest things. I have these taped off so you can tell easily, hey, this is the green, this is the red, and black's for 120 volt. It goes over here, and here's my sign. This is for turn 3, and I have them basically labeled there just in case the color wears off. Left bottom plug, left top, and either right. So this is the high voltage, and these two are 24 volt. And they go in the bottom of that for my relays. You got those 2 relays in there, and I also have that little Christmas light box, that little pack that allows my lights to flash like they're supposed to. And basically these wires come off the relay. So you have one relay for the red. Like I said, that's just on off. That's all that switch does, it just turns it on off. These two are on the same relay. On the normally closed is the green. So it always has power until 24 volts is thrown to the yellow green relay. Once it gets 24 volts, this one normally closed becomes open, and then this one closed. This is on the normally open switch. This is the yellow. So once the high voltage goes through it, it goes to the Christmas light pack and then to the light. So it makes that light flash for me because I wanted a good flashing yellow light. Then up here, I just got a little handle so it's easy to carry. And I just got a real simple thing for our track, so it mounts onto this rail because, like I said, you can make it, make it for your track. This is how I wanted to do it, make it real simple. So, and these lights are these are LED lights. They're very bright, especially at night. Of course, it's brighter, but you can still see them during the day. But I went all LED because that's better, brighter, and that's what you want. And here in a bit, I'll also go back and show you my paperwork for a wiring diagram, how those lights work, with the relays. If you know how relays work, you already got it, I imagine. But just in case you don't have a ton of knowledge on electrical, I'll go ahead and show you, just if you want a good idea of how it works. It's very simple. It's just a little time consuming, but it's cheaper. It's not real expensive. And once again, here's my little control box. So I have all that written out here. So for our track, how I got to set up Christmas lights displays. Green means go, flashing yellow, caution, flashing yellow and red, full race stop. So if it's flashing yellow and the red's on, full race stop. Green and red is for pre-race staging and long-term red. So the reason I have that is so that yellow light's not sitting there flashing. So green and red on at the same time is like a pre-race staging, or or we're just at a long time period of waiting, because the yellow will eventually drive people crazy in the stands or on the track even. It's a pretty decent flash when it gets dark outside. And I just got it labeled right here, green, yellow, red, just so it's easy to tell which is which, these normal switches. In here is a terminal pack that goes across here. It's got the low voltage wires all gone to it, high voltage on it, a transformer in here, and basically that's all the wiring. And it just goes to two switches right here. The 120 volt comes in right there and just runs into a plug-in we got down there. So transformer has a fuse on it, of course, and it has a R. The R just goes to one terminal. It's just the hot, and one comes up here for the red and the other one comes up here for the green. And like I said, we'll look at the wiring diagram so it'll all make sense, but it's fairly simple. And it just breaks off 120 volts and the thermostat wires both spread out from that. One set goes that way, the other set goes that way in parallel. So it's fairly simple, but it works and it's good and helpful. Alright, I got it plugged in now. So there's the green light. I'll flick it to yellow, so that'll make that normally closed relay. It'll swap it over. So there's yellow. That's going to that Christmas light box to make it flash. If you're coming down the straightaway right here, there's a high chance you'll see that flashing. It's just supposed to be there to help the caution guys. That's all it does. It'll take a little bit to get used to, but we got flagmen out there. They're out there helping, but we're just trying to get everybody's attention the best we can. So back to green, and there's red. Like I said, that's another relay, but that's just on a relay on the normally closed side. So whenever you send power to it, it just closes it and it lets it come on. Alright guys, we'll start going over this wiring diagram here. I have it set out pretty simple, I think. I have the ledger off to the right explaining what each one is. I got a terminal block there you saw a picture of earlier in the center. I just had this one marked 1 through 8. I can't remember exactly what it was. And a transformer in the bottom left corner. So coming in 7, 8, that goes to 7 and 8 on the terminal strip. That's your hot and common 120 volt. Coming out your bottom is your 24 volt. Number 1 is your hot, 2 is your common, 1 has the fuse on it. It goes to number 1 lug, and the common goes to number 2 lug. So as it comes off of the number 1 lug, that's your hot 24 volt that goes to the switches. Whenever it closes the switch, whenever you close the switch, that's what sends power to the relays out at your boxes out there that turns your lights on. That's what swaps them back and forth. So one is set for red and one set for green, yellow. And I got all that marked over there on the right side, which one's which, so you can get a better look at it. Okay, back to the low voltage. As they come out of the switch, one of them goes to number 4 lug, the other one goes to number 3 lug, and that's where I have the other sides of the wires that go to the actual boxes tied into it. So reds tie into one of them and greens tie into the other one, so then they all branch off their own separate ways. So one set of thermostat wire and 120 volt goes to turn 3. Another set of thermostat wire and 120 volt goes to turn 4, or turn 1 rather, sorry. And then 7 and 8 are just the location for your main power coming in and the common. So you can see that easily. So on the top of it is what represents, that's what goes to the light boxes. Okay, so I'm going to start with the top left corner on this diagram for the actual boxes. The left plugs, what looks like regular plug-ins, that's your 120 volt plug, so that's what your 120s ties into. The plugs on the right is the ones I was talking about that are separated. So there's like a little bridge inside there that connects the two plugs on the right. The one is connected, that's where your common goes to. So the number 2 off of your lug back at the control box, that has your common for the 24 volt. That goes to this spot. It lands on that left side of that plug in the picture. And then the green wire that came off of your box, the green wire terminates on that lug on the right side there, as you see in the picture. So, and then the red ties into the bottom one that's marked red. That's how I have it set up there. I got one colored red, one colored green, and that's exactly how it goes. Coming out of the actual light box control, I have 3 wires, as you can see. One is labeled with black, one green, one red. And so it's exactly what you expect. You plug the black to the black plug, red to the red plug, green to the green plug. And then they both have, the 120 volt, the black one has a hot and common. The green has its hot and common for the green, and the red has a hot and common. And then that's exactly how they'll land inside of the light box's control box. So going now to the center of the picture, you can see each one. They're both just standard relays. On the bottom side, those itty bitty boxes on the bottom sides of each one, there's 4 total, you see, and they're all labeled. There's GY, there's star. On the other one, there's R. And something I just noticed, I actually screwed up on this wiring diagram. The C is also supposed to be a star. So that last one on the far right is supposed to be a star, even though it's not there. So that's my bad. The difference is the C is 120 volt common. The star is 24 volt common. So that's actually a big difference. So I just accidentally wrote that wrong on there. So it's actually GY, star, R, and star again. So just to clarify, that C on the bottom right corner is supposed to actually be a star. It's your 24 volt common. So when your plug wires come in, the plug-in that goes to your red wire, that's exactly how it goes. So the red from in there, the one that you have plugged into the red 24 volt, the hot wire, it goes to the R. The common, that the opposite side of it, the left side of on your plug, will tie into the common. And the same for the other side. So your green wire that you have, your thermostat wire, where when you plug it into there, that same wire that's plugged into the hot side of the green should go to where it says GY, that little terminal. On the opposite side, the common side that are tied together, on your plug, that goes to the star side. So that's exactly how it's set up, so that whenever you plug it in, it's ready to go. It's just waiting to be get power sent to it from the main control box. And the 120 volt, it's just the same there. You see T if you're looking at the relay. If you're looking at the relay, the right above the GY and the star terminal will start there. The rest of the box there, the T is where the hot comes in. So that it's always just sitting there. So on the GY, there's 2 different little sets of contacts. Like I was talking about earlier in the video, there's a normally closed and a normally open. So what that means is when there's nothing happening, the normally closed switch is what has power. So that goes to your G wire. That's your G for your green light. So your green light will always have power no matter what, unless it's unplugged at the main box. So, and then whenever you send power to that G wire, the 24 volt, whenever you flick that switch, your normally closed becomes open, and your normally open closes. That's how relays work. So basically your green shuts off and your yellow light is what comes on. So you see in the picture, the wire comes off of the relay on that one and goes to my little flasher box that I got. It's that little Christmas light flasher that you get on Amazon, and then it goes to the bulb from there, comes back into the flasher box, and then comes out, and that's what ties in. Your commons just all tie together with a wire nut. I think that's basically how I did it inside of that box on the light box itself. I think I just got it tied in with a wire nut, so I don't get real particular. Same with your red. So it's just 120, nothing special. It's just off of that plug, also tied in with wire nuts, and it comes in on the left side just the same as the green. And this one only sits on the coming out the relay. It only sits on the normally open. So whenever you flick the switch, the normally open will close, and that's what sends power to your red light bulb out there. And that's how the that's how the control box works on the light boxes. So that's it. That's your basic way of making caution lights for your track. The price for ours was about $650 or so, maybe $700 at the most. I can't remember the exact numbers, but it wasn't really expensive. But that's also counting running that PVC conduit all the way around there. I had about 350 feet of it, so you don't have to, but it's nice to have it so it protects the wire. If you guys have any questions for me, I'm not the best at explaining stuff, especially through video, but if you have any questions, throw it in the comments. I hope this helps somebody out there, because like I said, I did this because there was nothing on YouTube. I'm like, yeah, I can YouTube it and figure out how to make some caution lights. I didn't find anything, so that's why I've made this video. So like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to shoot them on here and I'll answer them the best I can. I hope it helped. Thanks. Have a good day.